A dimly lit, derelict motel room. Rain streaks down a grimy window. A laptop screen glows, displaying fragmented text, dark web pages. A cold, blue light casts long shadows. They said it couldn't happen. A journalist, alone, against an empire. He chased whispers, followed shadows. The rumors grew. Drugs. Billions. A web of lies reaching the highest towers. He saw the truth. A system rotten to its core. The CIA. A phantom limb of power. Operating in the dark. He made them visible. He gave them a face, a name. Then, the knocks began. Soft at first. Then louder. Relentless. The threats. The warnings. They told him to stop. To forget. But he couldn't. He wouldn't. He knew too much. Far too much. One night, the screen went dark. The room fell silent. Only the rain remains. And a chilling certainty. He was gone. Erased. Vanished. The price of exposure. The cost of truth. A debt paid in blood. The Central Intelligence Agency. A name is synonymous with secrets, with immense, unquestionable power, born from the crucible of global conflict, tasked with protecting a nation from unseen threats. From shadow adversaries, its agents moved in silence. Its operations are veiled in absolute secrecy. For decades, America trusted this veil, believed in the necessity of its hidden hand. But what if that hand strayed? What if the very institution designed to preserve became something else entirely? Something predatory, something criminal. Imagine a website, not of intelligence gathering, but of illicit trade, a vast, clandestine network. Its threads stretch across continents, through war zones, into quiet suburban streets, a pipeline not of information, but of poison, drugs, cocaine, heroin, a flood unleashed, destabilizing communities, funding proxy wars, enriching dark corners of the world, an empire built on addiction, on misery, on death. This was no isolated incident, no rogue agent's indiscretion. This was systemic, deeply consolidated, an operation with the resources of a superpower, but without its conscience. The scale was almost incomprehensible. Billions in dirty money, corrupting officials, subverting governments. A shadow government operating within the light. An accusation like this could rip a nation apart, shatter every pillar of trust. It was an attack on the very idea of justice, of oversight. The truth, if ever revealed, would be catastrophic. And it wasn't just a rumor. It wasn't just a theory. Someone had found the proof. Someone had dared to look behind the curtain. Someone was about to blow it all open. They were about to challenge an empire, the CIA's drug empire, and the target on their back will be undeniable. The cost, unimaginable. A single monitor hums in the darkness. Its green and blue light casts long shadows across the room. Fingers fly across a keyboard. Relentless, precise. This wasn't a hug. It was a statistical anomaly. A flicker in the vast ocean of global data. A thread. Then another. He pulled, gently at first, then with an almost surgical intensity. The screen displays a network diagram. Nodes glow, connecting across continents, shipping manifests, cross-referenced with satellite surveillance, financial ledgers, decrypted from offshore servers. Each data point, a cold, hard fact, a piece of a puzzle, a meticulous reconstruction. His method was relentless, his resolve unwavering. He sought patterns where others saw chaos, or were told to see chaos. His workspace, a digital fortress. Multiple screens display live feeds of encrypted chat rooms, dark web marketplaces, flight plans. The only sounds are the soft clicks of the mouse, the whir of cooling fans, and the distant city hum. No human contact, only the data, cold, impersonal, damning. He coded his own tools, algorithms, designed to strip away layers of obfuscation, to reveal the true architecture of power and profit. The truth emerges, not random acts, not isolated corruption, a systemic operation. An empire built on narcotics, funded by shadows, protected by power. The lines of culpability led higher, beyond street-level enforcers, beyond cartel kingpins. They converged on a single, undeniable entity, the Central Intelligence Agency. Their operational blueprint laid bare. The air grew heavy, the digital glow on his face betraying no emotion, only intense focus. He moved like a ghost through his own life, paranoia, a constant companion, a heightened state of awareness, every unencrypted message, a risk, every unfamiliar car, a threat. He wiped drives, shredded documents, disappeared from public grids. His existence became a series of calculated evasions. He was no longer just the investigator. He was the target. Then came the final compilation, the overwhelming evidence. Bank transfers, tracing billions. Witness accounts, meticulously verified. Coded communications, cracked open. The dossier was a weapon, precise, lethal. It detailed the global reach, the operational specifics, the unimaginable scale of complicity. He had the full picture. The method was complete. The truth, now undeniable. And it was ready to burn down an empire. A single data packet. Corrupted. Out of bounds. The system screamed. A red cursor blinked erratically on a darkened screen. Warning. Critical breach. An operator froze. Eyes wide. Heart pounding. The first wave. A digital tsunami. Then, the alarms. Not a gentle chime. A guttural shriek. Red lights pulsed, flooding sterile hallways. Everything bathed in crimson. A glitch flickered across the main monitor. CIA. Classified. Exposed. A frantic hand reached for a console. Too late. The torrent was unleashed. Screams echoed down corridors. Officers sprinted. Doors slammed. Secure lines buzzed with incoherent panic. Who did this? How? Where did it come from? No answers. Only a cascade of data, spilling, uncontainable. The firewall was useless, non-existent. Within minutes, the world knew. News tickers erupted, flashing red text. Top story, unprecedented leak. Every channel, every network. A cacophony of urgent voices. Anchors struggling to comprehend. Their faces, grim, shocked, unbelieving. The White House Situation Room plunged into chaos. Blinding red light. Disconnected calls. Officials shouting over each other. Maps on massive screens turned blood red. Global fallout zones. Allies in uproar. Enemies in glee. The carefully constructed lies, collapsing, brick by painful brick. The classified documents scrolled endlessly. Names, dates, operations. The sheer scale of the exposure was paralyzing. Drug routes, covert funding, paramilitary connections. The dark heart of a hidden empire, laid bare for all to see. Social media feeds exploded. Hashtags trended worldwide. Hashtag CIA drugs. Hashtag truth out. Millions of digital mouths, all speaking at once. The narrative was gone, irretrievable. Hijacked by the masses, a billion eyes now fixed on one scandalous truth. He watched it burn. The man, his own creation, his sacrifice, on multiple screens. A silent witness to the digital inferno. Distant sirens wailed, approaching, always approaching. He knew they were coming. The hunt had begun. A global dragnet, every agency activated, every resource deployed. Locate, neutralize, silence. His face, blurry and pixelated, plastered across secure feeds, the enemy within, the traitor. But he was more. He was the catalyst, the spark. The world was forever changed, irrevocably damaged. The red alert remained, permanent, a scar on the digital landscape, glitching, shifting, a constant reminder of what had been lost, what had been gained, the end of an era, the beginning of absolute pandemonium, a system shattered, bleeding out in plain sight. What now? The question echoed into the terrifying silence. The exposed sent seismic shockwaves. A meticulously documented betrayal. Gary Webb's series, Dark Alliance, had ripped open the CIA's darkest secret: drug money, weapons, covert operations. The intelligence community reeled. This was not merely a leak. It was a calculated, frontal assault. A direct, undeniable accusation against the most powerful agency in the world. A single, chilling directive issued from the highest echelons. Silence this man. Find him. Neutralize the threat. A specialized task force materialized from the shadows. Its mandate was clear, its methods ruthless. Locate Gary Webb. Terminate his influence. No official paper trail, just whispered orders. Unseen operations commenced across continents. The hunt began with digital forensics. Webb's every online interaction, every search query, his phone records meticulously cross-referenced. Billions of data points analyzed by sophisticated algorithms. Satellite imagery provided the initial grid. His known addresses, his daily routines logged with surgical precision. Friends, colleagues, family, all swept into the dragnet of intense scrutiny. The network deployed was vast, invisible, yet suffocating. Webb, a veteran investigative journalist, felt the subtle shift, the sudden, unnatural chill, unmarked vehicles tailing him, data inexplicably disappearing from his secure drives. He knew they were coming. He had anticipated this moment. Contingency plans in place, encrypted files hidden across multiple servers. Dead man's switches ready, but the adversary was formidable. Limitless resources, unwavering, vengeful resolve. They began isolating him, systematically targeting his sources, one by one. Intimidation tactics employed, promises of protection rescinded, his lines of communication fractured. His carefully built support system eroded. He became a solitary figure, a lone truth-teller against an unseen, omnipresent empire. The psychological pressure mounted daily. Each sunrise brought the net closer. Physical surveillance became relentless. From the bustling streets of Sacramento to the deceptive quiet of suburban Virginia, teams shadowed his every move. High-tech sensors monitored his vehicle's location. His online activity meticulously recorded. His infrequent, cautious meetings documented. They waited for a lapse, a single human error, a moment of vulnerability. It arrived subtly, an overlooked detail in an encrypted communication. A secure server believed impenetrable, now compromised. A single, anomalous IP address flagged in a remote log. The coordinates were confirmed. A secluded, rented cabin, deep within a dense forest. A place meant for escape, away from prying eyes, or so he desperately hoped. The arrest itself was a testament to their chilling efficiency. Clinical, precise, executed under the cloak of pre-dawn darkness. No fanfare, no shouts, no opportunity for resistance. Just the sudden, blinding flash of tactical lights, the low, guttural barked commands, the cold, unyielding click of steel handcuffs. He was outnumbered, overwhelmed, his carefully constructed world collapsing. The documentary of his life, his pursuit of truth, abruptly paused. His voice, his truth, momentarily silenced. The world held its breath. The man who dared to expose was gone, taken. The profound questions he raised remained. The implications of his capture reverberated globally. The empire had struck back. The hunt was undeniably over. But the bitter, arduous fight for truth, for accountability, was now truly just beginning. The truth had been revealed, raw, unflinching. But its rival carried a terrible price, a crushing, irreversible burden. For the man who dared to pull back the curtain, life twisted into an unrecognizable shape. His career, once vibrant and celebrated, became a relentless battleground. Every word, every source, every irrefutable fact was attacked, dismantled. His reputation, once solid, systematically shredded, reduced to whispers of discredit, to insidious seeds of doubt, meticulously sown. The relentless machinery of consequence turned deeply personal, intimate. His sanctuary, his cherished home, became a desolate cage. Relationships, once foundational and unbreakable, buckled under the unbearable, ceaseless strain. Trust, once implicit, evaporated like morning mist. He found himself utterly isolated, alone against a rising tide of condemnation, an unforgiving deluge. The whispers of dissent grew into a deafening roar. The support, once promised with such conviction, vanished into the ether. He stood a lone sentinel against an unseen, formidable empire, its power immeasurable. The weight of that solitary stand was immense, beyond human endurance. A cross he carried until he could carry no more. Then, the final, profound silence descended, a chill morning, a desperate, solitary act in a quiet, unassuming room, a life extinguished, a vital, uncompromising voice forever muted, the truth he fought so fiercely for, now a posthumous echo, resonating with a tragic, searing irony, a stark, loaded question hung heavy in the air, refusing to dissipate. Was this truly an end or merely another, more profound, more agonizing beginning for the unyielding truth? But what of the powerful entities he had so courageously exposed? The institutions he had dared to name, to indict before the collective conscience of the world. Their response was swift, decisive, not with accountability, not with remorse, but with carefully orchestrated denial, with calculated obfuscation. Investigations were launched, then quietly, systematically stifled. Public outrage, a fleeting, passionate storm, was expertly managed, swept aside, forgotten. Accountability, it seemed, was a concept reserved for lesser mortals, never for the architects of grand deception. Justice, a mere word, reserved for different, far less inconvenient battles. No high-ranking official faced indictment. No powerful hand was publicly chastised, not even whispered about in the halls of power. The alleged architects of corruption remained utterly untouchable. Their shadows stretched long, unyielding, and darkly pervasive over the desolate landscape of justice, a silent triumph. Meanwhile, the streets still bled, the neighborhoods he wrote about, the communities he gave voice to, remained crippled, shattered. Crack cocaine had burned through an entire generation, leaving an indelible, festering scar across the nation. A bitter legacy of addiction, of mass incarceration, of countless shattered families. Generations mired in a cycle of despair, decades of suffering, still palpable. The truth had been meticulously laid bare. The price, paid in blood, reputation, and an entire, prematurely ended life. But was true justice ever served for the man who sacrificed absolutely everything? For the countless victims whose lives were wantonly destroyed? For the very principle of truth itself, so brutally suppressed? It remained a ghost, elusive, unattainable, a stark, chilling reminder, etched deep into the fabric of our history. Some truths demand a sacrifice too great to bear. Some crimes, too deeply embedded, too politically charged, too powerful to ever truly punish. The echoes of his solitary fight persist. The profound, unsettling questions he raised linger, unanswered, unforgotten. Scene, low warm vignette, faded documents, a man's hands on a journal. Though he carried the burden. A terrible truth, not just data, but lives destroyed, seen, close up, weary, shadowed eyes. Pan, blurred headlines, a faded community photo. Though families broken, dreams shattered, a generation lost. He felt there, pain visceral, deep, seen. Warm glow intensifies around him. His hand trembles, tracing the photo. Urban decay reflects briefly in a window. Then his pensive face, though his conscience screamed, louder than any threat. For those silenced, betrayed by shadows, the immense cost, his peace, his safety, everything. Seen, a tear threatens, then recedes, gaze fixed, distant, light dims. He becomes a silhouette. Though, but what was the choice? Silence, complicity. He chose to speak, to stand, for the voiceless. An act of profound empathy, raw, unwavering, carrying the world's weight, for justice, for healing. His story isn't just history. It's a living blueprint, The system he exposed, it still breathes, adapts, learns. The forces that silenced him, they never truly vanished. They evolved. Their reach, long. Their grip, unseen. This isn't a past conspiracy. It's a present danger, a constant warning. But his sacrifice carved a path, a defiant legacy. The truth, once unearthed, defies burial. It echoes. We must remember. We must question. We must act. The shadows persist. Our vigilance must never waver. This warning stands, a future demanding awareness.